Hi, I'm BL Garrett and this is BL Garrett Films. Today I'm going to do something a little different and I'm going to show you how to smoke a Boston butt pork on a electronic smoker. So obviously the first thing you need is a Boston butt pork. Okay, today I'm going to be using one that's about 8 pounds. I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that know how to do this better and women that know how to do this better, but this is a technique I've used for the last few years and it works great for me. My family loves it. My friends love it. It's just delicious meat and it doesn't cost a lot of money. Basically, this is a 2-day process. So first day is that you got to rub down your Boston butt pork and you got to put it in the fridge and let it sit overnight, okay? So what I'm going to show you today is, here's my Boston butt. You got the fat side over here. A lot of guys trim it, but I'll tell you what, you want that fat when you're cooking it. And I'll show you why here in a few minutes. But what we're going to need today is you're going to need mustard, just regular yellow mustard. Doesn't matter if it's French's or, you know, generic grocery store brand. And I'm going to be using Magic barbecue seasoning. You can use any kind of barbecue seasoning you want to do the rub. Really doesn't matter. I've used a lot of different kinds, but this one I particularly like. It's at my local grocery store and it's the one I typically use on my butts. So first thing we want to do is you want to take your mustard and you want to put it all over this Boston butt. Okay? Once you do that, you want to rub in that mustard all over this butt, on the sides, underneath. Just rub it in really good because we want that seasoning, that rub, to stick to it good. I'm going to take my seasoning, my rub, and I'm going to start putting it very generously all over this pork. On the sides. You're just going to kind of rub it in, like they call it, rub. Just kind of rub it in there on the sides. Make sure you have it everywhere. And it sticks to that mustard really well. Then we're going to flip it over. I always do the top side first where the meat's exposed, and then I flip it over to where the fat layer is on top, okay? And I'll show you here in a few minutes why I do it that way. So put that rub on top of that fat layer. I usually use just about a whole can of this stuff. Might be a little excessive, but you know, use the whole can, rub that in really well. So now I can take it and really pick it up and get the sides really good. Now we're pretty much done, okay? Now what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. I'm not even going to cover it. I want it to sit overnight, all day, about 24 hours in the refrigerator, and it kind of gets a crust to it, okay? With that mustard gets cold and it kind of gets a crust on it for when I cook it, it's going to be delicious, okay? Here's the next key though. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator overnight. And then before I'm going to cook it, I'm going to take it out about 4 hours. I want it to get almost room temperature before we put it on the smoker. That is key. You want that meat, I mean, it's something my brother taught me a long time ago, is that you want that meat to be room temperature because all the muscles in the meat relax, and that's how you get good tender meat. So anyways, I'm gonna go put this in the fridge and I'll be with you in a second. Okay, we've gotten our Boston butt pork out of the refrigerator about 5 o'clock this morning and let it sit out for about 4.5 hours to kind of get it up to room temperature, and it's ready to go on the smoker. So one of the things that I only use apple wood chunks when I'm smoking my Boston butt porks. I've found that it's the best tasting smoke on the meat. So one of the things I like to do is I get a piece of foil and I just put those chunks in it, just like that. Kind of right in the center. And then I just take the foil and kind of leave a hole at the top. And I set it right on the electric smoker. Okay, once you have that piece on, take your meat and it's ready to go, man. Now that I've got the meat on there, close the lid and do not take that lid off for the next 2.5 hours. The meat can only absorb so much smoke. Usually people say 2 hours. I leave it on for about 2.5 hours. And then the next process is putting foil around it tight and putting it in the oven on 300 for probably another 3-4 hours. So anyways, don't ever take the lid off and let it smoke. Okay, it's been 2.5 hours. We're gonna take the lid off now. All right. One thing I forgot to say is that when you want to make sure when you put the pork on the grill, that you want that fat layer to be on the top, because that fat drips through the meat and makes it moist and delicious. So now we're going to put it in our foil. And we are going to wrap this baby tight. As tight as we can get it. You want that airtight, like a football. Now it's ready for the oven. We're gonna do about, actually I'll probably do about 250 for about 4.5 hours. And it should get it up to that 190 temperature range that we're looking for, and deliciousness. We're ready to go here. It's been about 4.5 hours, and I've got it down to 200 degrees now. I turned it down from 250 to 200 in the last 30 minutes. So I'm ready to take it out of the oven. Okay. Now that we've got it out of the oven, there's one more step. We've got to put the Boston butt pork in the cooler to let it rest for an hour. I don't know, it just, all the juices that are inside, that cooked inside the foil, they just go throughout the whole meat. So it's a process that my brother told me about years ago, and I've always done it that way, and I'm going to keep doing it that way. So we'll just put it in here, slide down. In an hour, we'll be good to go. Okay, so it's the moment of truth. Just took it out of the cooler. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Looks like pulled pork to me. And just to make sure it's perfect, there's the bone. Okay, that's it. It's all done. Now all I have to do is eat it. Perfect. If you guys have any questions or stuff you think I can do better, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. And if there's another dish you'd like me to cook, let me know and I'll do that as well. Thanks for watching.